Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Thank you so much. Today we're diving into r/RPG/horror-stories. vidIQ has been screaming at me. I've been looking for tips on how to grow the channel in this, and apparently this is like one of the bigger markets to expand into. It's also nerd cringe related, so I figured why not get back into that? Why not make it more of a regular thing? And you're here, so obviously it worked, and I appreciate you. Do follow me over on the Twitch and the TikTok, because I'm posting things over there. There's a bunch of other plugs and disclaimers that we want to get out of the way, but then I promise we will dive directly into some of this r/RPG horror stories cringe. Disaster DM runs D&D like a book. Oh, that's to say, like in a linear fashion, right? Why not just sit down and write a book if that's really what you're looking to do? Come on! I know there's not a lot of DMs out there, but we gotta be able to find somebody better than this. First post ever! Congratulations, user Metallic Tom. Feedback and comments are more than welcome. Oh yeah, you're gonna get a few of those. Sorry for the length. I really tried. No, I like the length. You really tried to what? Make it longer? Make it longer next time. There's your first comment. So for some background on this experience, at the time, I had very little experience with D&D. I played a one-shot and watched several videos with D&D stories and a little bit of Critical Role as well. I was invited to play one session at a game that some of my friends were also playing in. The DM, I was told, had over 10 years of experience. Wow, I'm super impressed. A whole decade sitting around the table playing with math rocks. Anyways, the campaign took place in a world that he was developing over the years and was based on a realistic / fantasy medieval world. Sounds super original, bro. The party consisted of the DM, my two friends, and a friend of the DM's that I will refer to as the paladin. The paladin talks like this. Oh. They'd been playing about 3 years and were all level 12. Level 12 in 3 years? Bro, I can't do it. I can't do it. The progress is too slow. Honestly, I'd rather go play World of Warcraft. Current World of Warcraft, not even classic. I could get to level 12 in 30 minutes. They seem to complain a lot about several aspects of the game, but they also had some interesting stories to tell, so I got the sense that they were just going through a low point in their campaign, so I made a level 12 druid, and I joined them. Oh, you just roll a level 12 like that? It took me 3 years! You think you could fill my shoes? I'm glad nobody's salty about that, but yeah. I can imagine some groups being slightly salty about that. Definitely me, no, not, never. I had a blast in my first session, and I could roleplay my character well enough to create some very funny situations as he met with some of these eccentric adventures. So I asked the DM if I could continue with them, and he accepted me. Oh boy! I had no idea what I was signing up for. I mean, the first session, I guess there were red flags thrown around, but you just weren't perceptive enough to catch them, you know? You were too focused in on like, I'm so excited to be playing with this new group. There's some stuff might have flown over your head. You should tell us about the first session. I'm here. I can read way too deep into this stuff if that's what you want. After the first couple of sessions, which were okay. Wait, we went from having a blast to just okay? Honestly, I feel like the only reason that I enjoyed those first few sessions was my excitement to finally play D&D with friends. That's exactly what I said, yes. However, after the excitement had gone away, I realized how messed up this DM's game actually was. I could honestly write a whole book about the things that happened, but I tried my best to keep this, short, or shorter. You could write a whole book if you want. I'll narrate a whole book. Let's hit up Audible, you and me, OP, alright? The sessions seemed to run almost always on a fixed schedule. For the first 3 to 4 hours, we would be forced to RP with ourselves or with random NPCs that we had no interest in. You don't understand, OP, they're integral to the plot. First 3 to 4 hours, bro, I'm already tired. This is not what I wanted to do with my entire day off or whatever. Then we were allowed to head towards our place of interest, where we would have a battle and close the session. What? Can we have more battles? Why are we just RPing the whole time? I mean, I guess it depends on the group. Some groups do really lean into that RP stuff. Me personally, I prefer a bit more murder hobo in my game, but to each their own. The DM was also fixated on how we would solve each problem, giving us no wiggle room to devise our own solutions. You're kind of missing the point there. There was a time when we had to find a plot-relevant NPC that we knew was hiding in a certain village. We spent 4 whole sessions looking around the village, exploring locations, and talking with NPCs without making any progress whatsoever. 4 sessions, dude. You have the patience of a saint, OP. Are you kidding me? How much do you want to bet that the solution's gonna be real stupid? Because I think the solution's gonna be real stupid. So we didn't make any progress until, that is, we talked with the appropriate NPC, which was the village's nutcase, who gave us the clue that revealed the location that we needed. Bro, after a certain amount of time, just let another NPC give that information. Why are you gonna assume people are gonna go talk to the crazy guy? After 2 whole sessions of searching for nothing at all, yeah, you just gotta be like, oh, my character fell down on his sword. He's dead. All right, I'm going home. I'll play some real games. Although that's not to say that video games are better than D&D, but basically anything is better than bad D&D. You know what I'm saying? It's time to go. The DM prided himself on running a world driven by the characters and their decisions, but he would then railroad everything and got frustrated and angry when we didn't play along. I mean, at a certain point, somebody's just got to give him a reality check, right? His friend is the paladin. Why don't you have the paladin talk to him and be like, look, this world is not driven by characters or their decisions. You have a linear path to travel down. It's just not fun, dude. Maybe we could change it up for the next one and see how that goes. But I don't know. Some DMs really go on an ego trip, so probably it would fall apart. But like I said, if the sessions are that bad, then I don't mind it falling apart. At one instance, he presented us with a plot hook that involved us visiting an imprisoned archdemon in a different realm. Archdemon? Whatever. He implied that he could give us some information on how to stop the demon invasion from coming into our realm. Yes, now that sounds like a quest. Naturally, we tried to gather some information by asking relevant NPCs, like high-ranking paladins that had dealt with demons before, and they all said the same things.
Demons will always trick you, no matter what. It's impossible to trick them. They're master of lies.
And
the demonic realms are too dangerous to visit. You wouldn't last a day.
And so we decided that we would not follow that quest, as it seemed like a suicide mission. Really, it's no wonder why these player characters didn't dive into a demonic portal after being told, yeah, you won't stand a chance. You gotta maybe be like, hey, there's this weapon that might help you in this other dungeon that fits into the railroading part of my campaign, but also still make it possible to be done without it, just harder to complete or something like that. This DM's just horrible. You've been doing it for a decade, which at first I thought was sad, but now I think it's even sadder. How can you be doing it for a decade and still be this bad? After the session, I explained to DM that our characters couldn't possibly be up for that task due to how he presented us the hook. He then explains with a scolding tone,
"You're adventurers. You're supposed to take risky missions."
Yeah, risky missions, not like you're definitely gonna go die type of missions. Do you understand the difference? Several sessions later, we infiltrate a demonic building in our realm, trying to destroy it. After we disable all the runic circles and slay the demons inside, we try to exit the building. Surprise, surprise, wouldn't you know it? The exit is closed. And when we finally find a way out, we find ourselves in a demonic realm. Yeah, there's 13 of them. You gotta travel through all 13 before you can finally go home. I'll be like, well, I guess I live in the demonic realm now. That's fine. My character lived happily ever after, the end. The NPCs themselves also seem to be always against us, no matter what we were trying to achieve. The demon NPCs, or we're out of the realm now? I guess we're out of the realm. They were constantly suspicious and scorned us while making remarks about how unintelligent we were and how we misunderstood the situation. Okay, well, that's not the player character's fault. That's you failing to provide the correct context clues. How is your ego this out of control? Being the DM doesn't make you special. It's the job that nobody wants to do. We say thank you. We're grateful. And that's about it. I'm not going to play along with all this for an extended period. Any allied NPC was a character from one of the DM's old campaigns. Whoa, how cool! Or some other sort of DMPC with class levels and homebrew spells that the DM loved to use. Look at my character, guys. Isn't this cool? See, he wanted to be a player, but he got pushed out of every group that he ever joined. That's what's going on here. That is why he was relegated to the DM role, and he doesn't even perform that well. He can't stop from self-inserting, and not in the fun way. In one instant, we were thrown out of an opposing guild after we tried to talk with their leader. He naturally refused to talk to any of us and ordered his men to kick us out. Yeah, fair. We chose to make it a bit harder for them, so my druid transformed into a giant bear and shat on the floor. Yeah, clean up my poop. Then a wizard casts Reduce on me, and the DM describes that my character becomes small enough to fit in the palm of his hand, and I am summarily thrown out the window. What? I ask. That is not how that spell works. To which he replies, yeah, that's true, for the normal spell, but he is a high-level wizard. Yeah, so is this DM, I guess. The forever alone kind of wizard. Dude, why is it like this? You're already kicking him out. Why you gotta throw him out the window? And as far as I understand it, the smaller you are, the further you can fall because air resistance or something like that. So if your character's ant size, he probably wouldn't even take any damage. Anyways, the DMPC would also straight up prevent character actions. At one instance, our cleric wanted to cast Fireball to free our paladin from a gelatinous cube that had trapped him when everything else had failed. The DMPCs pinned the cleric down to the floor while shouting at us, "He's gone crazy!" And then proceeded to knock him unconscious in one hit. I mean, are we the NPCs? Apparently you are, as far as this DM is concerned. At this point, maybe you should talk to the paladin and be like, dude, what was up with that? Because maybe the DM and the paladin had something planned that you didn't know about. But then again, I'm probably giving both of them way too much credit. Yeah, somebody's getting eaten by a gelatinous cube. Just let it happen. It's gonna be fine, probably. On the other hand, our spells and abilities were severely limited. We quickly realized that he was purposely buffing monsters, so spells that he didn't like simply wouldn't work. What spells does he like? Fireball? Does the bard have some spells that can easily defeat a monster, like polymorph? Well, that monster now throws with advantage and +10. Then what's the point of having this spell? I can't use it on anything. I tried locating the enemy boss after he appeared before us in the form of an illusion with locate creature. He narrates that we can track the boss and are now right outside his door. Isn't that convenient? And he ends the session there. Oh, dude. I guarantee you he's not keeping track of any of this stuff. Maps of the dungeon? Pff, forget about it. You guys are wherever I need you to be at the moment. I can't stand a DM like this, dude. You think this is a hook for next week? It only frustrates your players. On our next session, we find ourselves still trying to track where the boss's location is. He didn't even write down where they stopped. Oh, God! And we are forced to chase after one of his minions that leads us there because apparently locate creature is now useless. Oh, are you kidding me, dude? It's time to go. It's time to pack it in. Take your friends. Go somewhere else. This is probably like the biggest warning sign. He's not looking to play a game. He's looking to write a book, right? You're the DM. Why are you not taking notes? All battles are scripted and what we do doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's like a QuickTime event. Isn't that cool? He keeps all the monster HP and stats in his head because, quote unquote, it's easy for him. Bro, that's just so you can fudge the numbers endlessly, isn't it? You might think that you're remembering all that stuff, but as we've seen from Locate Creature, you're not remembering all that stuff. So basically the bosses all had immunity until he decided otherwise for some reason. God, it doesn't even sound fun. This is just the worst thing ever. I want to quit vicariously. All our spells would fail, and the bosses would stay alive, even after taking like 500 damage. And of course, we can't prevent any of the cool scenes that he prepared. He swears he actually prepared something for this game. I don't buy it. Press X to doubt. In some instances, he even had us lose a boss fight so that our allied DMPCs could come and rescue us. Oh, God. The self-insert is so strong. How did you last this long, OP? Only then were we allowed to turn the tide of battle. Yeah, after he got a chance to flex his EP to be like, look everybody, aren't my characters super cool? The only character able to deal damage was his friend, the paladin. He had a holy avenger. Yeah, he's my friend. He found a legendary item. What of it? And several homebrew magic items with haste that lasted for an hour and constantly cheated with his spell slots and damage rolls. You know what? Just let them play with each other. That's really what they want, isn't it? When we confronted him about the paladin and explained how much he was cheating, he promised that he would talk to him. However, nothing changed. The paladin kept landing 150 damage per hit. Yeah, this is obviously his little pet in the game that wants to play alongside the DMPCs. You and your friends aren't needed at this point, OP. Not like in a bad way, but in a way where you can go and find a better game than this. Things kept on piling up, of course. He never kept any notes, I can tell. Which meant that he constantly forgot things like who our enemy was. Or important things that our characters had achieved. Or the items that we had. That's why it's so easy for the paladin to cheat. Because the DM's not keeping everybody in line. He's the worst DM in existence. I hate all of his characters and this campaign sounds horrible. I gotta go! And if he couldn't remember, then one of the trusted players had to come to your defense. Or that thing was just, evaporated. Yeah, that magic item you got at the beginning of the game from a strange old man wrapped in a shawl. Yeah, that just disappeared from your bag. Nobody else remembers it. So what do you want from me? What, am I supposed to write it down? Oh, you have it written on your character sheet? You're probably lying about it. What am I, under interrogation? Or are we here to play some freaking D&D? How about it? I'm getting so upset for no reason. After about 6 months of this, I decided that I had had enough. 6 months of your life, OP. I mean, you can't get it back, but you can avoid these situations going forward. 6 months? Half a year? Oh! I could no longer spend 6 hours every weekend sitting at a table where the DM didn't care less about his players and was really only interested in telling his story.
Write a book.
Why must you hold other people hostage to bear witness to this travesty you've created? I didn't want to create a sour mood for the rest of the players that were invested in this campaign for 4 whole years. Oh, that's right! I forgot about the first 3 years. Oh no! This is like purgatory. Oh, I don't know how they did it. Somebody get those boys a job somewhere because they are committed. They showed up for the doldrums every weekend for 4 years. Wow, I'm impressed. Also saddened, but pretty impressed too. So I told him that I was very busy and couldn't continue and never returned. That's the right choice. My friends pushed through the next few months until the campaign finally, mercifully, ended. I don't know how your friends did that, honestly. Do they not realize how bad all of this is? Or are they just there to support the one, like, teacher's pet paladin guy? I am frothing at the mouth just reading this. Oh! Just sit down and waste every weekend for a year on this! You don't even have any, like, epic memories of any situations. It's just the stupid story that the DM tried to shoehorn in there. And you probably wish you could Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind it out of your brain, but it's too late. It's there forever. My friends were all very disappointed, of course, and told me they never wanted to play with that DM again. Yeah, after 4 years of misery, this is the ending we get! Looking back at it now, I think the main problem was that the DM was unable to just, like, talk with us, or admit that he had made a mistake and improve his DMing. Yeah, the ego is out of control. That's also the reason that he won't just talk with you. You are beneath him. He is God in this world, no matter how terribly he runs it. After that experience, I decided I would take matters into my own hands. I got Curse of Strahd, and I'm DMing it for my friends from that campaign, and we are finally enjoying ourselves. TLDR, DM runs the campaign like reading from a book. The PCs become NPCs, and the NPCs become PCs. Oh, everything's all topsy-turvy. I don't know what's going on. I'm so surprised that anybody would sit there, subject themselves to this. You just hope beyond hope for 4 whole years, half a decade, that things are gonna improve eventually? No, once somebody shows you who they are, believe them. I think OP was the bright one in this situation for bailing. I mean, 6 months, still probably longer than I would have given it, but at least he wised up eventually. And eventually, I think most players are going to wise up, right? Once you realize what you should be expecting from a DM and a campaign, yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna sit around and tolerate this. The real reason that I know this DM is never going to get any better is because he's been doing the same thing for 12 years. He hasn't improved after a decade, and at a certain point, you just have to write it off as a lost cause. Be like, you know what? I'm not actually interested in playing. And I might even be a little bit upset with my friends for trying to drag me in on this mess. There's a reason that last player left. The whole situation, very sad. I'm sure somebody will get pulled into his game eventually, but hopefully it takes a lot shorter than 4 years for them to quit. I hope after the first session, they're like, stop railroading your players, I'm out. But maybe I have high hopes. I do hope you guys enjoyed this episode, friends. If you did, I hope you like, comment, and or subscribe. Do all the things, you know? Check out all them links in the description. I appreciate that. I'd also like to thank my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous Patreon patrons and YouTube channel members, as I do every episode, very much, so thank you too. Selwing, Samantha, Abe Wells, Organic Steve, Vladimir Dragonov, A Tiny Void, Ameltia Hannon, Sean Cantwell, John Endor, Strain Boy, That One Gay Cop, Valley-Eyed Crane, She's Angel Dark, Bedazzled Misery, Skylar Rain, The Fez Wearer, Rosie Rainbow, Heaven Sent, Robert Thibodeau, Jackie McQuitty, Grimstribe, AJ Collins, Tooth Plushy, Corey Arts, Florentic Flavor, Dungeon Bat, Billy D, Robert Waits, Brandon Ashcraft, Phantom Danica, Skylar Morningstar, The Gypsy Barber, Fire Drake, Death's Flagship, and buy two, get one hand. Over on the Patreon side, Ms. Black, Gorius Maximus, Harley Owen, Robert Waits, Camille Sarah, Mr. Pepperfall, Wagon Pants is my father, Resid Dex, Evil 9, The Cringening, the one where you get chased around by the Poopy Cool Man. Yeah, that's my favorite one. Vixie, Fluxer, Jerry, Captain Cloud, Jerry, Hong Kong, Ellipses, Esteban, Orgami, Steve Bean, Tom the Bag of Mouse from downtown, Santa, Jerry, Silent Revolver, Zartarus, 28, Jerry, that's the original Jerry for those who don't know, Zarfar Barkar. What's that supposed to mean? Destiny Piper, Jerry Kitsune, Air Frankenberry, ain't that a hot bitch though? Assassin Punk, Jerry, Bang Bang, Baby Jerry, Benchy in the Jets, Billy D, Bitch Gremlin, Blade the Hero, Chance for Blue Kraken, Commander J Tank, Dirty Little Jerry, Dr. Larks, Dial, Aaron Era, Erratic Mechanic, Eastbars, Frozen Over Studio, Fire Drake, Gizmo Jack, Hey Dream BR, Irish Pirate, just lost the blue marble in a mutiny. Sad when that happens, isn't it? Iron Hollow, JM Coon, Jeremy Smith, Jerry Blacktail, Jukebox Jerry, stars in his eyes, Kelly Kraken, Lady Italian, Greyhound Dino, Lady in Awakening, Lauren Crow, Legitimate Girth, Lord Jerry, O leader of the Thunder Jerrys, Lukovic was a race car driver, he was a good friend of mine, never did win that chicken flag, but I helped him drink his wine, I know how it goes now. Like and subscribe, Lady Dix, Mad Monk, Melgar the Destroyer, Metal Factor, Mint Chip, oh, you're back, Needless King 89, Phantom of the Pines, Jerry Kins and Jerry Beth, Queen, Quaaludes and Quagmire, Sarita the Lolita, Scarlet's Kevin, Sergeant Gay Cop, Bringer of the Law, Silo M, Stephanie Gunner, Storm, Jerry, welcome, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tomago, the Gypsy Barber, the Lilith Who, Lord Jufusky, this isn't even my final beard, trying to play Zelda Mom to get back to the real world, Vanguard Angel, VC3, Viking Jerry, Vladimir Dragonov, Wiki Tag, Zephyr Gargoyle, or Clay, Commandant Mooney, Kira, not another Jerry, but he is though, Cage Alex 9, Redwind, Bad Penny Lane, Carcass, not my return stuff, Venom Jerry, One Leg Jerry, has returned from battle, Normal Jerry, alright, Red Blackers, Red Hell, Beards, hijack my internet, the Mambo Doritos Daily, send the Soap Squad, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do what we can, but we don't negotiate with terrorists. Amber Alder, another stupid hipster, Atomic Jerry, Zelda Breaker of the Tom Army, Bartender Kelia, Big Dad Wolf, Broken Spine Horseradish, Cake Jerry, the original different Jerry, California Jerry Girl, Chicago Panda, Corey, commission now, whoa, Crip Titties, Devon Jerry, Defter Tuna, Deku, Dilf Jerry, Dwarfy Dude, Fedorable Jerry, just tip them a lady, ooh, get to it, the Doodles commission's open over there as well, Jerry, Boo's daughter, Ghost of Alpha Greymon 365, half Slavic Jerry in the tracksuit, he cannot, Hydra Jerry Solomon, Janitor Jerry's back from the abyss to clean up after teenage beards, Jeffrey, Gerald of Arivia, Jerry Bo with 2 S's and an E, Jerry Springer, the results are in, you are not the neckbeard, I mean kinda I am though, a little bit, Jerry the Sexy Baga, Jerry's mom's got it going on, Jerry Roxers, Jerry Roleplaying Game, Kid Marvelous, Defender of the Innocent, Enemy to the Bearded, Kitzikin, Machia, CD, maybe next time, Mecha Suits, coming to sense of your cringe, my sense of the world, yeah, it's happening a little bit, it's fine, totally okay, Mr. Gasmask, Not Invisible Angel, Raptor at Selden Dark, Snary, that's Snom Jerry, Spoonie the Rogue, Spoopy Scary, Jerry Ton, Techno Dubs, they call me Jerry Two Dives, Jerry Pie, this is purely a mercantile transaction, to Infinite Jerry, NPR, Tokyo Bird, Unkale, Vaughn, Throw Sulier Mountain Dew, Grow by Neckbeard, Grow, it's Jerry Time, Hold ReddX Morpher, Hygiene, it's Jerry Time, Hold ReddX Morpher, Humility, and thank you to my $1 patrons as well. Bless up to all the Jerrys and not Jerrys alike, you're so beautiful. If you can afford to support alongside these people, who are truly keeping me afloat, by the way, I would hugely appreciate it. If you can't do it, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoyed today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos, okay? Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.